Coastal North Carolina has begun experiencing the first brush of Hurricane Florence, which forecasters say could cause heavy flooding across parts of the U.S. Southeast. The storm is expected to hit the North Carolina coast on Friday. Florence has now been rated a Category 2 storm, but still packs devastating power. More than 1 million people have been asked to move to safety. Businesses and homes were being stocked up with basic supplies in states on the storm's path. The hurricane center was about 265 kilometers east of North Carolina this evening. It is expected to hit the coast with a maximum sustained winds of 125 miles per hour. Forecasters say the storm could bring days of heavy rains and intense inland flooding from South Carolina to Virginia. Parts of North Carolina could get 40 inches of rainfall. Our correspondent Giles Gibson now joins us live on the broadcast. He is in North Carolina at the moment. Giles, thanks very much for speaking with us. First up, what are the preparations that have been made by the administration in the wake of the storm? Over 1 million people have been ordered to evacuate.
That's absolutely right, Molly. The atmosphere right now, you can probably see behind me, there's not very much wind. It's the sun was actually out earlier. It's starting to cloud over. So I think we're quite literally in the quiet before the storm hits. I was seeing some video footage coming from further up the coast here in North Carolina, where the wind is really starting to pick up and there's sort of rain being blown horizontally by that wind. So we're expecting in the next few hours perhaps to start to see the very edges of Florence start to hit Wilmington in North Carolina, where I am, and then some of that very serious weather will continue to come over in the next 36 to 48 hours.
We're aware of the administration's efforts to ensure that basic supplies are made available in these areas which are in the storm's path, Giles. But for those people who are in the storm's path, what are the preparations for those people to be transported to safer areas? Has the administration made those efforts as well?
Well, the advice to people here in the last few days, as the forecasting has got more and more accurate for this storm, has been to evacuate in some parts. As you were saying, more than 1 million people have been put under mandatory evacuation orders in North Carolina, where I am, in South Carolina, and in parts of Virginia to the north as well. Now that the storm is so close, the advice from local authorities is much simpler. It's to get your preparations in order, get your food, get your water, get petrol if you can get hold of it, and then stay in place, find a safe place to shelter as the heavy weather comes in. We're expecting up to 110 mile per hour winds, so people are really just looking for a safe place to try and wait out the storm.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Giles Gibson joining us from North Carolina. Do stay safe. Thanks very much indeed for joining us with all of those updates. After deadly Hurricane Lane, tropical storm Olivia is making landfall as well in Hawaii in the United States. Though the tropical storm Olivia is weakening as of now, officials have asked people to prepare for the worst. The storm is expected to bring 5 to 10 inches of rainfall. The Hawaii Tourism Authority has warned that severe weather effects could extend statewide, asking residents and visitors to ensure that they have adequate supply of food, water, medication and essential supplies. But there's a more powerful storm that it's making its way to Philippines. Thousands of people are being prepared for evacuation there as Philippines braces for its most powerful storm this year. Typhoon Marquard, expected to be a Category 5 storm, is expected to bring heavy rainfall and flooding along the Philippines' northern coastal provinces of Cagayan and Batanes. The typhoon is due to make landfall on the northern tip of the main island of Luzon by the weekend. 10 million people are in the path of the storm, along with millions more in coastal areas of southern China. The typhoon is already packing winds of 205 kilometers per hour. Relief goods and disaster equipment units are being transported to towns that are expected to be most severely affected. Powerful storms are a common occurrence in the Philippines. Each year, the island nation is battered by an average of 20 typhoons, and Marquard will be this year's 15th storm. Russia has produced before the world the two Russians accused of poisoning former Russian spy and his daughter in England. The accused appeared on state television saying they had been wrongly accused by Britain of trying to murder the Skripals. British prosecutors last week identified two Russians they said were operating under aliases, Alexander Petrov and Ruslan Boshorov, whom they accused of trying to poison Sergei and Yulia Skripal with a military-grade nerve agent in England. The two men who appeared on Russia's state-funded television RT had some physical similarities to the men shown in British police images.